People in the supermarket that afternoon were too busy rushing through their lives to notice the tiny girl in the wheelchair, clutching 3 wrinkled dollar bills as if they were made of gold. Her eyes were fixed on a small birthday cake behind the glass, plain, white, nothing fancy, yet far beyond what she could afford. Most walked past her without a glance. But when one man, tired, rough around the edges, pushing a cart with one hand and steadying his little boy with the other, stopped suddenly and turned toward her, everything changed. What happened next is the kind of moment that reminds us why hope is never wasted, even when the world feels unbearably heavy. The automatic doors of Miller's grocery hissed open as 12-year-old Layla Fletcher pushed herself inside, her small wheelchair rolling unevenly over the worn floor tiles. Even in the middle of the crowded Saturday rush, she moved quietly, almost invisible, keeping her hand tight around 3 faded $1 bills she'd collected from months of saving loose change neighbors would give her for picking up mail from their porches. $3, just enough, she hoped, to buy something for her birthday. Her mother wasn't with her. She couldn't be. Layla's mom had already left for her second job, even though it was barely noon. Layla knew the bills at home were piling up faster than they could be paid. She also knew that the accident that had paralyzed her when she was 7 had drained their finances and changed everything. The home therapy, the hospital visits, the special wheelchair, all of it meant her mother worked harder than any one person should ever have to. So Layla never asked for gifts. She never asked for anything. Except today, she hoped to buy a small birthday cake. One with just a bit of frosting, just enough to make her mother smile the way she used to before life became an endless marathon of worry. She rolled herself toward the bakery section, where the bright lights made the decorated cakes look like little celebrations waiting to happen. She spotted one, a simple, single-layer vanilla cake with "Happy Birthday" piped in pink icing. It wasn't the prettiest, but to her, it looked perfect. A warm flutter of excitement rose in her chest, until she saw the price tag. $9.99. Her heart sank. She stared at the cake, then down at the $3 in her lap. The bills trembled in her hand as she swallowed hard, trying to push down the disappointment so it wouldn't turn into tears. Nearby, customers were laughing, comparing flavors, picking out treats without a second thought. Layla wished she could blend into them, just once. Instead, she forced a smile at the bakery worker when asked if she needed help. She simply shook her head and moved away from the display, her hopes shrinking just like her voice often did. She rolled down a quieter aisle and stopped near the shelf of discounted pastries. A few old muffins. A cracked cookie container. Nothing birthday-worthy. She let out a tiny sigh. Maybe I'll just get a candle, she thought. Maybe one candle is enough. She glanced down at the $3, her birthday money, her hope, and for the first time that day, her lower lip trembled. People passed by her. No one noticed. Until someone did. A tall, broad-shouldered man with faint stubble and tired eyes walked into the aisle, holding a grocery list in one hand while guiding a small boy, maybe 6 years old, with the other. The boy was whining about wanting chocolate cereal. The man's voice was gentle but exhausted. Not this week, buddy. We're stretching it already. His cart was half full, mostly essentials, rice, chicken, diapers, bread. Layla recognized the look, a parent doing their best with what they had. When he glanced up and saw her wiping her cheek with her sleeve, he hesitated, then stepped closer. "Everything okay?" he asked softly. Layla straightened, forcing a smile. "Yes. I'm fine." But her eyes betrayed the truth, and the man saw it immediately. His son peeked around him, curious. The man knelt to Layla's level, his voice lowering. "Are you looking for something?" She shook her head. "It's silly." "Hey," he said gently, "if it matters to you, it isn't silly." Layla's fingers curled tighter around the $3. She didn't want pity. She didn't want to be a burden. But something about the man's voice, the kindness in it, made her whisper the truth before she could stop herself. "I was trying to buy myself a birthday cake." The man's face softened. So it's your birthday? She nodded. And you came alone? My mom had work. It's okay. Her voice wavered. I just don't have enough. She expected judgment or awkwardness. Instead, she saw a flicker of pain in the man's eyes, a pain that matched her own sense of being left out of life's celebrations. The man sighed quietly, stood up, and motioned for her to follow him. Come with me for a moment. Layla frowned. Why? He smiled. Because birthdays deserve cakes. And I think maybe I can help. Layla followed the man slowly to the bakery counter again. His son clung to his hand, looking between Layla and his father with curious eyes. A warm smell of fresh bread filled the air. Layla's heart pounded with confusion. The man turned to her. Which one did you want? She hesitated, her cheeks warming. It doesn't matter. It does, he said. Pick the one you liked. Her gaze drifted back to the simple vanilla cake with pink frosting. The one she thought she couldn't have. That one, she whispered. He nodded and told the bakery worker, we'll take the cake, please. Layla's eyes widened. Wait, no, you don't have to. I know, he said gently. Let me. But why? Her voice cracked. You don't even know me. The man paused, his expression shifting from kindness to something heavier. He knelt beside her again, and for a moment he looked like someone carrying his own broken pieces. I'm a single dad, he said quietly. My boy here, he hasn't had a birthday cake in 2 years. Not since his mom passed. The little boy's hand tightened around his father's. Layla's breath caught. So I get it, the man whispered. I know what it feels like to want to give someone you love something special, even when you can't. The bakery worker handed him the cake. He paid without hesitation. Layla lowered her head, overwhelmed. Thank you, she whispered. I don't know how to. You don't have to repay kindness, he said. You just pass it on someday, when you can. But before she could respond, the man surprised her again. He asked the worker if they had a marker. Then, leaning on the counter, he carefully wrote on the plastic lid of the cake. To Layla, may today remind you you're never alone. Her throat closed. Tears pooled. She had never received a message like that. The man gently tapped the cake container. You deserve something sweet today. You deserve celebration. And then the little boy tugged her sleeve and shyly handed her a tiny pack of birthday candles he'd grabbed from the checkout lane. For your cake, he said. You have to make a wish. Layla smiled, tears spilling freely now. I will. Thank you. As the man pushed his cart away, Layla called out, wait. What's your name? He turned back with a tired but genuine smile. Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, she said again, clutching the cake to her chest as though it were priceless. He nodded once, then continued on, his son skipping beside him. Layla remained in the bakery aisle long after they disappeared, feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time. Seen. Valued. Worthy. She wheeled herself toward the exit, imagining her mother's face when she brought the cake home. She imagined lighting the candles. She imagined making her wish. And for the first time in years, she believed it might come true.